You're listening to Puma Podcast.
So we just want to make a point. We just want to help this person na stop at the level of hurting animals. Because it's been proven that people who hurt animals move on to hurt people later on. In fact, in the United States, there's evidence that all serial killers have started out as animal offenders. Um, they so yung mga disregard ng mga signs na they were shooting arrows at cats, mga ganyan. Ayun, later on, they would be the very people who would bring guns to a school and shoot down their classmates, ganon.
Animal rights advocates and pet lovers were in uproar last week after the death of Tiger, a dog in Subic, Zambales. He was attacked by a public market vendor after he allegedly stole meat from her stall. A witness posted a video of the aspen on social media before he succumbed to his injuries. Reports said that the vendor had already been arrested by the Subic police. This is just one of the many animal cruelty cases reported to the Philippine Animal Welfare Society and on social media. However, perpetrators of crimes against animals rarely get prosecuted. In this episode, we talk to a lawyer and animal rights advocate to explore why people fail to file cases against those who commit animal abuse. We discuss the weak points in the country's animal welfare laws and the pitfalls of posting the crime on social media without filing an affidavit. I'm Jin Garcia, and you're listening to Teka Teka, powered by Puma Podcast. The Philippines has a law protecting the physical and psychological well-being of animals, Republic Act 10631, passed in 2013. It strengthens the penalties for animal abuse and neglect from the Animal Welfare Act of 1998. Section 8 of RA 10631 mandates that upon conviction, the perpetrator will face imprisonment of up to 2 years and or a fine of up to 100,000 pesos if the animal is killed after suffering from maltreatment, neglect, or cruelty. If the animal is severely injured, the maximum fine is 50,000 pesos, while the maximum jail time is 1 year and 6 months. If the animal was subjected to cruelty without causing death, the maximum fine is 30,000 pesos and imprisonment is 1 year. If animal cruelty is being done as a business or executed by a syndicate or a public officer or employee, or if the act involves at least 3 animals, the maximum penalty imposed is 3 years imprisonment and or a fine of 250,000 pesos. Despite the legal protection for our furry friends, they hardly get the justice they deserve. Data from PAWS reveals that only 1% of the 673 animal cruelty reports that were emailed to them in 2024 were filed in court. What often happens is that the cases get posted on social media, stoking public outrage and sympathy without taking steps to hold those responsible into account.
Minsan, you want your feelings like when you're angry or when you're sad or when you're happy, then you want likes or shares or people sympathizing with you. And those who have been wronged, if ever yung animals nila were hurt or those who have witnessed animal cruelty, I think they have a very strong sense of they want people to share in their horror, their pain. So yun, may ganon. I think we need to put more information out there that this is not, if not the proper venue, it's not the priority venue.
That's Ana Cabrera, the chief attorney of PAWS.
Kasi there's also wanting to embarrass the perpetrator or the animal offender. And ako, since, he chose to be an animal offender, he chose to hurt animals, I really, I'm not one to be sympathetic towards yung feelings na embarrassment of that person. Kasi that's an act that he did. And if he did it, then if it's an act that one should be embarrassed about, then he shouldn't be doing it, di ba? So ako okay naman ako with the factor na you wanna shame the person who did a bad thing. Pero it's not going to get justice for an animal. As a lawyer, and even before I became a lawyer, I've always believed in the rule of law, due process, ganyan. And so we have to file those cases. And one thing I've learned also through the years, kapag inuna ang posting for the cruelty, the more likely na makakaisip ng lusot yung animal offender. And sometimes na-amaze din ako kasi sabi ng mga tao, ano daw, nangyayari na yung crime, prioritize pa yung pag-video. Yung pwede naman nilang at the time that the crime was happening, they could have shouted at the perpetrator, they could have thrown something, chinelas or anything that can help stop what was going on, because it was a really bad thing for the animal. Pinapalo, all those things that they do dun sa mga horrible viral videos na yan. And then they could have called the police. Kasi when you call the police or law enforcers or barangay officials, if they catch them in the act, then they can immediately arrest them, and then haul them off, as opposed to pag ni-report mo lang after the fact, then it might not be, if it's too long since the crime has been committed, then we'll go through a preliminary investigation. So mahirap talaga. So that's our beef with why are you posting ahead of the filing of the case.
Cabrera said, "It's better to have an eyewitness instead of relying on a social media post or video when filing a case against perpetrators of animal cruelty."
Do you think that with those types of scenarios, let's say posting on social media or having the evidence that they did it would still be helpful in like capturing the or like filing a case, because I think those videos are needed for evidence po, right?
Mm. Yeah, correct naman. Meron naman malaki tulong ng videos in adding to the evidence, no? Pero if you were to ask me, would I prefer an eyewitness that didn't have a video but is willing to do an affidavit versus a witness who has the video but will not do the affidavit? I would choose the one without the video. Kasi videos that are posted on Facebook, really, although they may be admitted into evidence, ma-attack agad yan. Because, like, where did we get it? We can't say to the prosecutor, oh, we just got it off Facebook. Kasi, and you can't even verify, like, was it tampered with? What was it digitally enhanced? Meron bang binago dun sa video? Mahihirapan kami to enter into evidence. Samantalang, we've been filing cases since 2002, early 2000, no? And wala pang smartphones at that time. And we were able to successfully prosecute because you have to understand that in the age before smartphones and videos, people were already being prosecuted successfully for crimes. Basta mayroong witness. Kasi if you have a witness affidavit and then you swear that this is something that you actually witnessed, then it's just as good as a video in court. Nasanay lang yung mga tao na I think they want na, ayan naman kitang-kita na nasa video, but hindi pa natin maano. Kaya lang, a good defense lawyer would always be able to get out of it. So, maganda ang video, but only if there is a willing witness to do the affidavit that he or she took the video, or kahit na he did not take the video, or he was there while the video was being taken, or he has some personal knowledge about the video. For example, we had a witness before, actually quite recently. They saw the video of a man beating a dog, and then they didn't take the video, no, just saw it on Facebook. It became viral. And then they said, ay, si ano yan yung co-worker nila. So everybody was saying, yeah, that's him. And then they recognized the house kasi they would go there for birthday parties. And then yung pinampupukpok pa daw dun sa aso was something na parang free na binibigay sa company nila. Something like that. So That's personal knowledge. That is something like everybody in the company already knew that it was him. So one of the employees stepped forward and did an affidavit. So that's personal knowledge. So he or she may not have done the videotaping. He or she may not have been there, but she saw the house. She saw the dog. She recognizes the dog of the person. She was there. So and then she recognizes the face of the man and the shirt that he always used to wear in the house. So mga ganon. So it's not always video is good to have, but it is not fatal to the filing of a case if you don't have that video. And mali rin yung perception na basta may video, okay na yun. Forward na natin sa kanila, sila na mag-file. Actually, hindi. Hindi kami, all of our successful cases have always had a witness affidavit. Kailangan ng person with personal knowledge. Kasi kami din mapapagalitan ng prosecutor na bakit nyo dinala to sa akin, walang probable cause, or as we know now is reasonable certainty of conviction. Yun yung kailangan na quantum of evidence bago ka magfa-file after the fact of the crime na hindi naman siya na caught in the act. So, yun, kailangan talaga ng affidavit.
Data from PAWS shows that there is a 95% conviction rate in cases they filed. Yet, some people are still hesitant to file a case. And even after the tedious process and legal expenses, some complaints lose interest or withdraw in the middle of the prosecution, which is why they ask the complainant and/or witness to sign an agreement when seeking legal assistance from PAWS.
Pero lagi kaming naiiwanan holding the bag kapag biglang umatras na or nag-lose na ng interest yung complainant, which is so painful for our volunteer lawyers kasi they've spent time and effort tapos hindi man lang sila, walang bayad, anything. And then bigla na lang, bigla. So mag-withdraw. So we try to say na, ma'am, pag-isipan niyo mabuti, this is a filing of a case. We have to see the case through. As with any other case, no, not just animal welfare, you have to ask yourself, are you prepared to see this case through pag dadalhin mo sa judiciary? Because it's no laughing matter. This is a serious matter. You can be charged with perjury if you are stating not facts that or not facts, yung mga untruths ang ilalagay mo. And then you'll be berated by the court if you're just wasting the court's time, and then later hindi naman pala, no? So yun, that's the reason behind our na they have to sign that commitment. Kasi pag bigla silang matras, there is a clause there that we are going to charge them the regular fee of a lawyer for all the things that we've already done for you in this case. Yun.
Are there other factors, that stop people from filing the cases, or I guess backing out from it?
It's the usual na may mga threats, they're afraid for their lives, and then natakot sila kasi pag mga Pinoy, they're usually very tayo yung lagi nakikisama, ayaw natin ng gulo. So yun ang mga primary reasons. And then yun, pag natatakot sila for their safety. But I keep telling people, if you're already on social media and then nag-post ka na, you're already exposed. In fact, more exposed than filing a case. Kasi when you file a case, at least, so syempre, the accused has the right to know who has filed that complaint against him. Kasi it's his right. So yeah, malalaman identity mo and everything. Pero it will have to go through, like, makikita naman it's the accused has the opportunity to defend himself with masasagot niya yung charges. He has the opportunity to reply. And Animal Welfare Act violation is not naman, punishable with Celia Electrica. I always tell people na there's really no point in i-threaten pa kayo or anything because maximum is 2 years or 2.5 years imprisonment and or a fine of up to 250,000 pesos. So it's even at the MTC level lang, not the RTC. So we just want to make a point. We just want to help this person na stop at the level of hurting animals. Because it's been proven that people who hurt animals move on to hurt people later on. In fact, in the United States, there's evidence that all serial killers have started out as animal offenders. Um, they so yung mga disregard ng mga signs na they were shooting arrows at cats, mga ganyan. Ayun, later on, they would be the very people who would bring guns to a school and shoot down their classmates, ganon.
Acts of cruelty to animals are linked to a deep mental disturbance. Research shows that people who commit animal abuse do not stop there. Many even move to fellow humans. Murderers often begin by killing and maltreating animals when they were young, as indicated in a 2019 Science Direct study titled Aggression and Violent Behavior. While the Philippine Animal Welfare Law needs stringent punishments, these are just short term solutions for perpetrators.
So, do you think POS is supporting that type of suggestion that the perpetrator should also be rehabilitated after, doing the act or the criminal act?
Oo, our laws naman is more of that eh. Criminal justice system natin is built towards reform and rehabilitation. Kaya nga we've done away with the death penalty kasi pag death penalty, wala nang chance yun kasi patay na, no? So, yeah, it's always been leaning towards that. Pero, generally, our rehabilitation system is sorely lacking. And we know this pag mga minors, no? The minors that can't really serve the jail time, and they have to go undergo intervention by social workers, no? We don't get that much because we have of a support. And I do believe they have to be rehabilitated somehow, um, in terms of not just animal cruelty, but all the crimes that they commit at a especially young age. We had a case of 4 or 5 young men. Their ages were 19 to 21 or 22 years old. They were found guilty of beating a cat to death because they were caught on CCTV in Pasay City. And you could search this on our Facebook. So they were meted a punishment of imprisonment, but they applied for probation. Kasi if you're, since this is under the MTC and 2 years lang ang maximum na imprisonment, they are eligible to apply for probation. And this simply means, for non-lawyers, no, that you can serve your term outside of prison. And what the court did for these young men was send them to us para daw mag-volunteer sa POS. But of course, since they hurt a cat, we were afraid to have them work with our cats kasi we didn't also have the personnel to supervise them. Baka mamaya yung mga cats namin sa shelter, yung pa yung mabiktima. I mean, we have trust issues, obviously, with these convicted felons, no? So, but, what we had them do was, yung aming compost pits, dun nilalagay yung poop ng mga dog and mga cats, and they needed to shovel it and empty the whole compost pit. So, we got them to work dun sa compost, digging up poop of the dogs and the cats and putting them in sacks para ma-recycle into mga dried poop into fertilizer because we also do composting at the shelter. And what we found was that yung mga batang ito, they were, nagkatuwaan lang sila to hit the cat. And they've come to the realization na mali talaga yung ginawa nila. And when they were doing the digging of the compost pits, they got to talk to some of our volunteers. And they got to see that our volunteers were bathing the rescued dogs. They were wiping down the cats. And nagkaroon ng effect sa kanila, which was good. They even asked, at the time they ended their hours of service, they asked us, they said, ma'am, kasi ano yon, pandemic. So they asked us for may food ba daw kasi they will try to feed the strays during the pandemic dun sa kanilang area. And sabi ko, okay, sige. So, wag nyo nang gagawin yan ulit, yung ginawa nyo. Oo daw, natuto na sila. So, I think it's good na we give people second chances, lalo na the young ones. Kasi I believe in reformation, rehabilitation, but that they should also be dealt with justice, no? Like they served their time. They actually rendered work. And they went through the whole court. And nasa record na nila that they're guilty.
Another Philippine law focusing on animal welfare is the Anti-Rabies Act of 2007. Under this law, pet owners who fail to register and immunize their dogs against rabies will be fined 2,000 pesos. Those who fail to observe their dogs after they bite an individual will be fined 10,000 pesos. If they do not shoulder the medical expenses of the person bitten, they will be fined 25,000 pesos. The law also imposes a 5,000 peso fine for those who trade their dog for meat or use electrocution as a method of euthanasia. Even with heftier punishment for animal cruelty, Cabrera said they want a fixed penalty for specific crimes against animals. PAWS also suggested more specific provisions for pet neglect.
Definitely, we wanted so many other amendments put in. Kaya lang, because of lack of time, we only were able to do like increase of the penalties for the Animal Welfare Act. Now, we are now thinking of certain amendments that would be helpful. Like for one, we didn't want parang we wanted a fixed, uh, not not a minimum and or a maximum. Kasi ngayon, you can be charged with from 1,000 to 250,000. And so, if, for example, you're guilty, you can be the judge, depending on the appreciation of the judge. The judge can say, oh, 1,000 lang. Ganyan. So, for us, that's medyo a bit minsan disappointing for us because minsan the crime was so horrific, and yet I think the appreciation of the court, maybe because of the evidence presented or how the defense attorney defended the client, or maybe they also considered the age of the defendant or yung nag-plead guilty yung defendant, no? So may mga mitigating circumstances. Naglagay lang sila ng 2,000 pesos and that's it. Minsan mas mahal pa dun sa airfare namin papunta dun sa lugar. So, we want in the future na there's for certain crimes against animals, hindi ka bababa of a certain amount. We don't want much elbow room in discretion as to the payment of the fine. And also, yung imprisonment if we, as much as possible that the criminal procedure will allow, no? Kasi there's criminal procedure for all the cases. That's one of the amendments. Secondly, we've never had a successful neglect case. We've filed, I think, mga 5 neglect cases, all of which have been dismissed at the level of the prosecutor, preliminary investigation. Kasi ang hirap-hirap, since the quantum of evidence needed for criminal cases is beyond reasonable doubt, ang hirap talagang i-prove yung neglect. So, we wanted some safeguards there to make the prosecution of pet neglect easier, like presumptions that they, if the dog is this thin or this weight, then we don't have to be proving that the did not feed for several days. So, just the weight would be enough. Yung mga ganyan. So, pet neglect, definitely we need something done about the filing of pet neglect uh, for cases kasi wala pa kami. As opposed to, for our other animal cruelty, diba, binarel, sinaksak, binuhusan ng kumukulong tubig, basta na may nakakita, it's actually easier. We have a 95% batting average in terms of getting guilty verdicts or convictions for those type of cases as opposed to yung pet neglect or failure to provide adequate care. Kasi neglect is defined as failure to provide adequate care. And also there's a problem as to who is the owner or the guardian, the one tasked with adequate care. Kasi minsan ang palusot is, di naman namin aso yan eh. Nakita lang namin yan. Or, so wala tayong mass registration of dogs, walang microchipping, so you cannot even connect the dog with the owner. They can just continue to deny that it's their dog.
If we compare this to our Southeast Asian neighbors, Singapore and Malaysia, they have heftier fines and more specific provisions for an animal cruelty incident and pet neglect cases. In Singapore, first time offenders may face a fine of up to 15,000 Singapore dollars or detention of up to 18 months. For subsequent offenses, the perpetrator may face a fine of up to 30,000 Singapore dollars or up to 3 years of imprisonment. The Lion City also has penalties for individuals found guilty of neglecting an animal, and overfeeding is even an offense of animal cruelty or neglect. Singapore also imposes stricter fines for animal related business employees who commit animal abuse. In Malaysia, culprits found guilty of animal cruelty can face a fine of up to 100,000 Malaysian ringgit or imprisonment of up to 3 years or both. According to the Animal Protection Index or the API report in 2020, the Philippines has a D ranking, which means it has more to improve in the efforts to safeguard our furry friends. The Philippines imposed small changes in its laws to protect animals, and the API recommended updating its laws to protect wildlife and impose mandatory vaccinations and neutering programs. But Cabrera also said the Philippines' animal safety legislation is better than some countries, especially those practicing dog eating.
We attend the Asia for Animals conference every 2 years. So in that conference, nandun yung mga Southeast Asian countries. And believe it or not, we're actually much better off on the legislative of animal welfare kasi we are the first in Southeast Asia to have come up with an animal welfare act. A lot of countries like China and Korea, they still have dog eating, and that's legal. As China doesn't have a national anti-cruelty law as of today. So we're not really worse off, no? Sometimes it just feels that way. And then as to Singapore, laging sinasabi yan na, kasi Singapore has always had a good showing, no? Sabi nga nila, parang Singapore shouldn't be classified as an Asian country. That's the complaint of many Asian countries kasi pang ano talaga sila, pang first world. But we're always Hong Kong and Singapore SPCA.
That's the Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
They've showed figures in terms of having better implementation. But these are kasi as a general overview of their countries is that they have good implementation because they don't have the same level of corruption as the other Asian countries in general. So not just animal welfare, but all other crimes, maganda yung kanilang enforcement of laws, no, for violation of those crimes. So we've shared yung best practices nila, but they have kasi they have certain governmental institutions that we don't have. For example, in SPCA Singapore, they told us that they have close coordination with the government in such a way that the government even funds a portion of there's also funding that goes into their, in India, for example, the spay-neuter component of ng work ng animal welfare is supported. So, the animal welfare laws are there also not just to protect animals, but to protect society from violence. If you allow the very voiceless, the most helpless of your society to get hurt, that's actually what escalates violence. Kaya kita mo, we have special laws protecting children. We have special laws protecting women. Why special? Why are we special? Because they're the more vulnerable. Yung bata won't be able to fight back. As an adult, hindi rin makapagsalita. Sometimes it's easy and fast. Ang problema sa social media, saying something is fast. Being a keyboard warrior is fast. You can comment anytime. You can say, oh, you're brave, you want to do this, you want to do that, that person should be punished. But are you going to put in the real work of actually getting those affidavits? Because that's what's important eh. File the affidavits para paglipad sa area, file agad ng case with all the evidence. So, it's a two-edged sword, the social media. Kasi one, we're happy about it kasi it raises awareness. Awareness is still good, no? Besides the truth, then awareness is good because a lot of people now are, they know that it's important.
To quote the inspiration for the Universal Declaration on Animal Welfare, quote, "In principle, animals are sentient beings with dignity, and their welfare should be respected, and attention should be paid to their physical and mental well-being," end quote. Animals can still feel pain and suffering in the same way and degree that humans do. And at the end of the day, humans are responsible for animal welfare. If you witness animal cruelty, immediately call your barangay officials or the police hotline at 911. According to PAWS, the complainant should gather evidence, prepare the needed documents, and testify in court. Once again, I'm Jin Garcia. If you find these conversations insightful, please share them with a friend or two. Subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok. This episode was edited by Anthony Tobias and produced by Consuelo Marquez. Thank you for listening.